ينساهوش. عارفين مصر عايزة ايه؟ عايزة منا فعل مش عايزة كلامنا، كل ما هنخاف عليها هتبقى جنة. عايزاها صحراء خضرا بإيد الفلاحين، ونعلم الجيل اللي طالع هي مين. عايزة لما تنادي يا ابني تشوف 90 مليون بابني. عايزة الكل يشيل جميلها ما ينساهوش. عايزة الكل يشيل جميلها ما ينساهوش. عارفين مصر عايزة ايه؟ لكل الناس في دايما حلم تحلم بيه، وانا كان حلمي على قدي ونفسي اعيش. ولما رميت عليك حملي شاركتني فيه، ايدك في ايديا من الاول ما بتسيبنيش. يلا يلا نكمل سكة مشيناها، يلا نفرح سوا باللي احنا حققناه. يلا هانت خلاص وانا وانت قلناه، احنا نقدر وده اللي انا وانت اثبتناه. وخلاص فاضل سكة على اخر السكة، لسه تكة كان ناس كتير شكة وشوفوا روحنا لفين. وخلاص فاضل تكة على اخر السكة، لسه تكة كان ناس كتير شكة وشوفوا روحنا لفين.
مشاهدينا الكرام، اهلا بحضراتكم، اسعد الله صباحكم بكل الخير من الهيئة العامة للاستثمار والمناطق الحرة. نحييكم إلى هذا البث المباشر لاستقبال حدث مهم للغاية. صباح الخير يا هبة.
صباح الخير محمد. نحن بانتظار السيد الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي لافتتاح عدد من المشروعات القومية الخاصة بالهيئة العامة للاستثمار والمناطق الحرة، بوصفها تقدم مصر كمركز للأعمال والابتكار من خلال خدمات تقدم للمستثمرين في مراكزها المختلفة المنتشرة في أنحاء الجمهورية، سواء في صعيد مصر أو في الوجه البحري، بالإضافة إلى عمليات التدريب والتأهيل للكوادر البشرية المختلفة.
نعم بالفعل، الاستثمار والاتجاه إلى الاستثمار يحتاج إلى إقرار كثير من البنية التحتية، كثير من الأمور التي يجب أن تعد لاستقبال الاستثمار الحقيقي، ولتكون مصر جاذبة للاستثمار كما هي بالفعل في المنطقة. مصر مركز للطاقة، مركز إقليمي بالطبع، وكذلك مصر مركز للاستثمار في المنطقة وللصناعات التحويلية وغيرها في القطاعات المختلفة.
إذن نحن بصدد هيئة عامة للاستثمار والمناطق الحرة التي تقدم المناخ الجاذب للمستثمر، سواء المستثمر المحلي أو المستثمر الأجنبي، وكذلك تقوم بالعمليات الترويجية عالميا لمصر بما يهدف إلى تنمية الصادرات المصرية والوصول إلى الحلم ب100 مليار دولار صادرات خلال 3 سنوات قادمة. التحول الأخضر أيضا له نصيب كبير بين جنبات هذا الصرح الذي نقف فيه، حيث تدعم الهيئة كافة المشروعات القومية وتقدم الخدمات للمشروعات القائمة فعليا ودراسات الجدوى للمشروعات التي يرغب أي مستثمر في الحصول على التراخيص الخاصة بها.
بطبيعة الحال فإن فكرة التصدير قائمة بالأساس على الصناعة، وقد دعمت مصر قطاعات مختلفة في الصناعة في السنوات الأخيرة والأشهر الأخيرة، وتابعنا مع حضراتكم ذلك من خلال ما قمنا به من تغطيات ومن بث حي من أكثر من مواقع الإنتاج، حتى مواقع الإنتاج المتوقعة في الفترة المقبلة. إذن كان أيضا لزاما أن تصلح مصر البيئة التشريعية وأن تجعلها مناسبة للاستثمار، فصدر القانون الموحد للاستثمار وكذلك مسألة الشباك الواحد. الكثير من الأمور التي يجب إقرارها من أجل استقبال الاستثمار، ليس البنية التحتية الفعلية أو الملموسة فحسب، بل كذلك البنية التشريعية والمناخ العام الذي يمكن المستثمرين من أن يقدموا، من أن يطمئنوا إلى رؤوس أموالهم وعلى أموالهم، وأن يقوموا بمسألة الاستثمار. فالمستثمر بطبيعة الحال يسعى للربح، يعني وهذا هو سبب قدومه للاستثمار، وبالتالي ليس الربح فحسب، بل هو ربح للأطراف كافة، للدولة التي يتم الاستثمار فيها مصر، وللمستثمر، وأيضا للمواطن الذي يجد فرص عمل من خلال إقامة مشروعات.
We're talking about the incentives of investment provided to the investment from the public authority of investment and the free zones, whether from different mega projects and the one window providing services for investors to get the permissions and license in a short time.
السلام عليكم، تفضلوا استراحوا.
السيد الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي رئيس الجمهورية.
President of the Republic, distinguished guests, in every day the Egyptian investment proves its ability to confront any foreign repercussions. The impact of COVID-19 reigned to the Ukrainian-Russian crisis. The policies of Egypt was enabled to deal with any shocks. Endeavors of the guest stories of Egyptian to confront such challenges and achieve unprecedented and historical achievements in achieving mega projects throughout the Republic. To prove the state of providing an incentive environment and atmosphere for foreign, domestic and Arab investors. And now, today, we'll watch inauguration of several investment and start our day for the speech of Chancellor Abdul Wahab, the CEO of the Investment Authority. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most passionate, Your Excellency, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the President of the Republic, distinguished guests, pleases me and honors me, on behalf of the all workers in the Public Authority of Investment and Free Zones, to welcome you, sir, in opening a number of projects made by the authority playing its role in achieving the sustainable development. We were honored to have you here in February 2012 and affirmed the importance of pushing investment domestically and internationally, pursuing the support of our national economy. Therefore, we've increased the size of investment as its presence and potentials as attractive domestic and international investment. The plan of the authority laid out in 6 main pivots. Briefly, firstly, expansion of establishing new centers for investors' services by opening several centers throughout the Republic, in particular the Upper Egypt, based on the decentralization with the provision of the modern mechanism. Through the past 3 years, 7 centers were opened in governorates: Al-Fayoum, Al-Minya, Qina, the New Valley, Ismailia, Port Said, south of Sinai. In addition, of a center to Kalubiya Center is underway to be operative this year, to be total as 15 throughout the Republic. The representative authorities of investors' services have reached to 67, contributed since 2019 till now by issuing 1.5 thousand of license that contributed the praise internationally in the field of practicing investment. Secondly, provision the proper environment by incentives, favorable incentives for mega national projects and projects in Upper Egypt and borders governorates, as well as the green economy, the AI, localization and replacement of supplies. The government laid out a timetable by all authorities to tackle the proposals and submissions of investment licenses to be done in 20 working days. In addition to the decrease of the minimum value of the capital of the one individual capital by provoking the startups to execute this kind of startups, and to give them residence, to give the foreign investors residence of 5 years. Thirdly, preparing a new strategy to promote Egypt worldwide based on directing investment to promising economic authorities of added value and targeting world companies by executing standards of knocking the doors of European countries and made meetings with big businesses in Egypt to encourage free invest their profits. Also, we've issued the 3rd publication of investment that includes more than 1,300 of investment opportunities and proposed more than 7,000 investment opportunities to end the electronic proposals in South Sinai of 140 opportunities, practically attracted new investment of economic fields such as the wiring, electrical systems, chemicals, industry in the household equipment to cover the Egyptian market and to be exported abroad. All of that affected the increase of the flow of the direct investment of a percentage that over 53% to reach more than 37 billion US dollar. That was due basically as an outcome of increasing the net income of the direct investment in the oil productions to reach $9 billion according to the central bank. To be the highest throughout the last 10 years, despite the negative impact of world and regional crises. Fourthly, working on solve out the hopes of investors based on the belief of the troubleshooting of the investors by doing the following mechanism: increasing the number of the proposals that succeeded the committee by ending all the conflicts of since 2019, and conflict settlement were done through the mediations in the authority. On the parallel, field visits that included the 17 governorates and met with all investors to tackle all challenges face their project on the ground and reach an effective solution. Fifth, training and rehab of the human power in parallel with your directives, sir, to raise the potentials of the human power. The ministry in 2021 executed 105 of training and partnership of more than 5% of the workers of the authority, with the coordination of the highest local and international universities and institutions. And we were keen to support the youth and the entrepreneur through practical training by executing more than 650 programs since 2020 till now, besides establishing a training academy to develop their potential to deal with the public authority, as well as the university graduates, Egyptian youth, to be prepared in entering the labor market. Sixth, develop the free zones and expansions of the investment zones. The authority worked in developing the free zones and the provision of all features of success. We have 9 public and 204 private free zones by providing 200,000 job opportunities. The authority had ended up developing the free zones in Nasser City as a whole that never witnessed any development since establishment in the 70s of a space, 756,000 square meters of a percentage of operations of 90%. That reached the efficacy of $9 billion. The current fiscal year reaching all the zones in the world to $6 billion. During this year, maximum the Egyptian resources of the foreign currency. Besides, the authority is undergoing to establish several investment zones that targeting the complete development and the provision of the investors' pieces and units of full facilities to target the license of the permissions. The authority was very keen to have a unified contract of the investment zones according to the engineering standards being adopted by all relevant authorities. And currently we have 10 investment zones, include 1,600 projects working in different fields ranging industrial and trade. Your Excellency, we witnessed today, we opened the 2 investment zones in Banha and Midghamr being executed according to your directives by supporting the SMEs and using all the competitiveness throughout the Republic. And allow me to explore the indicators of these, the following zones being established in 46 Sudan, specialized food and agriculture investment industries, and providing more than 4,500 job opportunities. All the units are split by PO2 for the 15 years. It is renewable. And the investment zone in Mid Ghabr has been established on a space of 18 fed-in specialized of engineering and metal industries that provide more than 2,500 job opportunities that include 107 industrial units by rent for 15 years. All the units been booked as a whole. Your Excellency, it's a word of truth, wouldn't have been achieved without your patience and the provisions of the following of the political stability, peace and security that became the main picture and mindset of Egypt worldwide through your fields, your tours domestically and internationally to provide the infrastructure. Without this wouldn't have these investment zones. The constant collaboration by the relevant authorities and your full support of enabling the private sector. Your Excellency, we are affirm you to continue to pursue on the work and reform and enable the investment zones to serve the interests of Egypt and put in the proper presence among the peoples of the world and put an open future horizon for the upcoming generation. Will excuse us, sir, to open the investment zones by the conference, video conference, to open the investment zone in Banha Al-Qalibiyya Governorate. The investment zone of Meat Ghamr Al-Dakhaliya Governorate Thank you, sir. The ability of the Egyptian economy to confront the world crisis contributed to the economic reform program that include financial and monetary reform, through which the government was enabled to put the Egyptian economy on the right track. And now we'll present you a documentary film entitled A Promising Path. Under the light of the sun, the meaning of life is born. Hope windows are open to work through all directions. Bright Egypt is strong and capable to path the long one built by the youth, by development and investment. The investment is the main engine to increase the rate of the economy growth, to contribute increase in the rate of the national.
والتكنولوجية. مناخ جاذب أدى لتحسين بيئة ممارسة الأعمال من خلال برنامج وطني للإصلاح الاقتصادي والاجتماعي. كل ده بيأكد إن الاستثمار على أرض مصر أصبح نمط حياة. الدولة المصرية بتواصل تحقيق النقلة النوعية في المجالات الاستثمارية داخل 9 مناطق حرة عامة و204 منطقة حرة خاصة في عدة محافظات. ساهمت المناطق الحرة في إطلاق 1095 مشروع وقدرت توفر 200,000 فرصة عمل مباشرة. وده بيدينا صورة موجزة للجدوى الاستثمارية للنهوض بالمناطق الحرة ودورها في تحقيق الرخاء والتنمية على أرضنا الطيبة. في قلب القاهرة وداخل حي السفارات بمدينة نصر بنعرف المعنى الأمثل لمفهوم المناطق الحرة اللي تم إنشائها وفق منظومة متكاملة للمرافق والخدمات بتحقيق متطلبات 207 من مشروعات الغزل والنسيج، الملابس والمفروشات، الصناعات المغذية للسيارات، الطباعة والنشر، الأدوية، وكتير من الأنشطة الخدمية واللوجستية. وبكده نجحت المنطقة الحرة بمدينة نصر إنها تفتح أبواب الرزق وتوفر 59,000 فرصة عمل لشباب مصر. خلال 8 سنين فاتت انتهجت الهيئة العامة للاستثمار والمناطق الحرة استراتيجية وطنية حققت الاستفادة القصوى من المناطق الاستثمارية بخلق تجمعات للصناعات الصغيرة والمتوسطة واللي بيها تم تمكين صغار المستثمرين كشركاء أساسيين في نهضة مصر التنموية. أحلام ما كانش ممكن تتحقق إلا بتذليل الدولة لكافة العقبات مع تيسير إجراءات مزاولة النشاط والحصول على كافة الخدمات وفق المزايا والإعفاءات الخاصة للشباب والمستثمرين. بتنفرد الدولة المصرية بوجود 10 مناطق استثمارية بتغطي العديد من الأنشطة الصناعية والتجارية والخدمية واللوجستية. واحدة من مناطق مصر الاستثمارية الجديدة بتقع على بعد 60 كيلومتر من القاهرة وبالتحديد على الطريق الدائري الإقليمي بمدينة بنها. هنا اتخلق واقع جديد بيفيض بفرص الاستثمار الواعدة على مساحة 46 فدان، تجمع متكامل للأنشطة الغذائية والزراعية والصناعات المكملة ليها اللي قدرت توفر لولاد القليوبية 4500 فرصة عمل. تجمعات استثمارية بتضم 147 وحدة صناعية و16 مخزن و6 ثلاجات و18 منفذ بيع. ده غير إقامة مركز لخدمات المستثمرين وعدد من المعارض التجارية. بتستمر جولتنا وصولا للمنطقة الاستثمارية لمدينة ميت غمر بمحافظة الدقهلية، نموذج تاني لمنطقة استثمارية متكاملة على مساحة 18 فدان بتضم 107 وحدة صناعية تم تخصيصها بالكامل، وفرت 2500 فرصة عمل داخل المشروعات الصغيرة والمتوسطة في مجال الصناعات المعدنية والهندسية وصناعات أخرى متنوعة. بالإرادة قادرين نكمل حلمنا، بالعمل عارفين طريقنا للنهار، بالأمل حالفين نحقق الازدهار، بالتنمية والاستثمار مسار واعد لاقتصاد صاعد.
تبنت مصر خطة إصلاحية طموحة لضمان الاستدامة المالية
reform plans to guarantee the sustainable of finance and boosting the interest among investors through the urgent work for their sons to place a very prominent presence among the world economy. And now successful stories among investors and businessmen achieving great success by foreign exportation. The speech, the CEO of CFC company. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most passionate, Your Excellency, Mr. President, Your Excellency Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, it honors me to explore the project of the CFC in Egypt. We have 4 projects in the Arab region: UAE, Saudi Arabia, Algeria, and Egypt. The value of Egypt's project is that for the first time in the world that we're using the feed completed that it's the friendly environment feed to be used, the first one in the world. If they ask me, when they ask me in investment company why they are flowing 400 billion US dollar in this place, the answer was just the geniusity of the place. 180 of the phosphate field to bring 1 million phosphate in a small value, bringing potassium and from Saudi Arabia and Jordan to be explored throughout the world, and increasing the component of feed following the investment in fish market and fish farming in Naga Hamadi that has components and zones for the workers. The direct economic quality that most of the feeds are coming from abroad, and now we are going to spare this size by adding US dollar output such as 1 million US dollar every year. And the role for the sustainable development is our goal. Firstly, to try to create 2,600 new job opportunities in the Upper Egypt. Education is the basis of any sustainable development. That's been agreed upon to establish 2 employed schools in Manufia and the second in Qina. Schools for the students of the preparatory school certificate will be, upon graduation, to be included in the factors of the company Manufia and Qina. Will be localized by creating kids, because the complete investment in phosphate field wasn't being done totally because of the resilience that was solved by using or with the cooperation of this group, and it's a zero. And we'll honor that is zero waste complex that will be an input of a new production process. The project is a green industry through the payloads of being used 14 megawatt to be added to the national grid. The geniusity of the project is capable to bring 400 US dollar of direct investment to be added 1.5 million ton of the feed that serve 4 strategic industries such as agriculture, food security, and the industrial sector, and most of which the oil sector that is being used in the linen of the wells of the gas and oil. It is an environment green industry and zero waste complex that will fulfill the needs of the domestic market and to be able to export to more than 70 countries around the world. The product is certified in the field in Japan and Brazil. It is an added value, and the gaining of the license by thanking to Dr. Hala Saeed to amend the executive Let's attract more investment funds to work in Egypt, that by saving long time, instead of gaining the 26 approval for one project. This is a mixture of the products made by the industrial complex of 1.5 million ton of the food components added as feed, phosphoric acid, and sulfuric acid. They are the basis of any industry, such as chemicals, vehicles, batteries, etc. This project is a model of integration among the Arab countries participating in the industrial partnership between Egypt and Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. The Egyptian phosphate without exportation to get the other product from Jordan without any exporting, and to be final exportation product for all the world. It gives a model for investors, attractive, and it's capable of flowing new investment into becoming big priorities. And the good horizons will be covered by everyone by creating investment outcome for new investors to provide supplies that by using our foreign currency. The stance was being gained by giving permission of 360 meters in Kenya, and the land is undergoing to be received with the cooperation of Thyssen Group in Germany. Construction work will start in the first quarter of 2023, and experiment will be in the first of the 2024. We'll invite you there to open the project in the first quarter of the 2025. In the final, I would like to extend my thanks to you, Mr. President and Chancellor Mohammed Abdul Wahab and his team exerted all the efforts by providing the piece of land for this project, and thank you, sir. To rely on the national industry to fulfill the needs of national projects and boosting the growth of the economy, increasing job opportunities were one of the most important components to deal with the variables of the world. By the coordination by the government, visions of investors and the businessmen for the interest of the Egyptian industry and supporting the national economy. The speech of Mr. Ahmed Al-Gandhi, the CEO of Higher Egypt Company. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most passionate, Your Excellency, Mr. President, distinguished guest, it honors me to present the plan for higher investment by establishing a complete and complex of household equipment established in China, starting by refrigerators plant, becoming the first rank of the IoT. Our goal is finding complete solution by facilitating the daily life routine. The company has gained the biggest certificate and the world award that ranked the first in the world in the household equipment and the size of sales, as well as the digitalization transformation, or the digital transformation and linking things. Higher owns a group of trade brands throughout, such as Electric and Hoover and others of the world brands. We are capable to provide 3 billion users or consumers throughout the world by establishing 32 plants, and we are maintaining to be in top by exporting our products through 10 research centers throughout the continent of the world. In 2020, higher Egypt established to be hub for exportation in the Middle East and Africa. By the coordination of the mother company in China, we started a plan, its goal to establish a complementary industrial complex in Egypt. Due to the strategic relations between Egypt with all Middle East countries and Africa countries, that became an attractive environment for investment and a 10-set vision for the whole world. In addition to the huge investment in infrastructure such as in power, we have a surplus in a time that the whole world is suffering from a shortage of the energy. The industrial complex by investments in $135 million to be established in 200,000 square meters in the 10th of Ramadan city of 10 or 6 factories to produce TVs and ACs and other products to be an added value for Egypt. It would include a plant of producing a component to contribute and improve the competitive environment in the Egyptian market by increasing investment opportunities, God willing. The first phase of the project to produce TVs, washing machine and refrigerators and other complementary industrial products. Through the first 5 years to be produced of 1 million pieces, 30% for exportation and the 70% for the local market. 60% of their products will be produced locally. Contains a training center for the technical potentials of the manpower to be provided for the Egyptian market. Your Excellency, Mr. President, the company is targeted to double or to triple the production during the first 3 years and by achieving a rate of $400 billion. We've already signed an MOU by establishing the industrial complex by the system of the investment zones in the 1st of August, and the General Authority exert all their efforts to execute the timetable, and we have an unprecedented support to produce other products in successive phases. God willing, we are targeting to have an experimental production in 3 years, and in the 4th quarter of 2024 we'll have the first production. We pray to the Almighty God to have or to grant us the success of producing world standard production. Thank you, Mr. President. As always, the objective of national project to take our countries forward according to a complementary vision headed by a wise leadership by establishing the new republic. Excuse for inspection tour. Just allow me for 5 minutes, allow me to extend my salutation. I thank the workers in the Jaffe for exerted effort, or to the businessmen, all the full support and appreciation to you. Let me say that our visit today's goal is just to affirm that we are paying great attention in industry in Egypt by facilitating all the hindrances and obstacles confronted. We are not away from the reality. The two models we've seen by the golden license is the path of the state to facilitate as much as possible of the procedures. As said, 26 approval that takes a long time from the investors to reach the practical work by establishing their project. I direct my words for us as a state. We've said this before, that by making the one window to give an approval not to exceed 20 days, and we've talked if it was possible. We've already did this by entering in specific zones to be prepared, give them the conditions to be approved by the relevant authorities for the sickness of the investors to take a very short time in through the administrative procedures such. I imagine that what we've seen today of the two models, they are okay, good, but they're not enough. If we're talking that we're targeting 100 billion US dollar for exportation. It's not a big figure for a country of 100 million population. That would require us to be united with the businessmen in Egypt to overcome all the hindrances and obstacles. And maybe the upcoming economy conference should be in a great chance, the first of this upcoming months. I hope would give opportunities for investors, businessmen to present and their obstacles they may confront. It's not a fault of the government. We are presented to be tackled, to be sorted out. As you've said, each project is an added income, not for the corporation, but for each individual works within the project. And I imagine the manpower magnitude or size of Egyptian workers, it isn't as much. I've already talked on the first project of phosphate. It's been said that there would be a school to do the training, and we've said to businessmen that we are fully prepared through the technical schools made by businessmen already that being reoperative to provide the need of workers. They taught them in these schools and to be worked in their project. What I want to say that we wish to expand in this matter and to encourage the businessmen and to participate with us, not financially, but in the path of prepare a graduate to have a real job opportunities in the market. We are fully prepared to cooperate with you. If we were talking about the ad hoc system of investment, pieces of land, allocations, manpower that are fully trained to have a successful participation What is left, the development and research centers, whether they are in the academia, there are too many. It is important to be linked and engaged with the businessmen and industrial men and women in Egypt by finding solutions or putting their hand on points that require development. If we could have managed to do this engagement between these centers and the industrial men in Egypt, as I said, we are going to be expanded by entering new plans. Private businessmen have worked and succeeded that require us to support and encourage them. A lot to be said that need to be affirmed. Do the size of the private sector in Egypt of a total 20 to 30%, 50%, I wish to say it is 70% and maybe more. On the contrary, that people may have imagined it's less than that, at least it's 75%. Some would say, are you serious to solve the issues of investors with respect to the supply chains and that was created in the last 2 to 3 months? I said, yes, of course. Because we wish not to have a real problem to face the work and investment in Egypt. What I want to say that I need to be open with you, exerting all the effort, despite the circumstances that we are facing, that there are harsh all over the world affected big industrial country, but the COVID-19 and the Russian crisis had a great shock upon us and the world. But we are trying to just mitigate their impact, and God willing, within 1 to 2 months at most, to get rid of all the obstacles. So to be clear before you all, I thank you, and God willing, we will have visits to plants. I extend all appreciation for businessmen and investors in Egypt, and I call them upon for more work, because this country is the country for all of us, and thank you very much.
الجاي خير وأمان سحر الطبيعة هرم ونيل وسهر وليل غير أي ليل وعيون بتضحك ليك في كل مكان بحر وسمح سحر وخيال على أرضنا
علق أي أمور في حياتك، خلي لبلدك أكبر حيز، راجع بقى رجوك حساباتك، شغلك هيخليك تتميز. نام للساعة 2 ما تنامش، ما انت سنين انت ما بتقومش. احنا بنعمل كده لولادنا، مين قاعد معظمنا هيمشي. قول انا واجب تعب البلدي والمصر الاكبر متحيز. اي امور في حياتك
مشاهدينا الكرام، نحييكم من هنا من الهيئة العامة للاستثمار والمناطق.
Welcome you at the General Authority for Investment and Free Zones, where, as the President inaugurated via video two free zones, in belief that the leap that should be by the investment in development of our economy. Councillor Mohammed Abdul Wahab, the President of the Jafi. Good morning, sir. Good morning to you and all viewers. So would you like the General Authority of Investment of a great size and plans, the most prominent to be provided for the investors, starting by the domestic investors. As you can see, Mr. President will honor us for the first time in the free zones in Egypt, established in the 17th, but its efficacy were raised to provide good services for domestic and foreign investors. A number of operative plants will be inspected, and His Excellency, Mr. President, will open a number of new projects in Dakhale and Qalyubiya governorate to explore what has been done through the last 8 years. We're talking about the Jafina free zones. Challenges for the Egyptian economy. Back again, what are the incentives for the foreign and domestic investors? Most probably for the investors, the facilitation of the procedures to be minimized to help them. And the government had laid out 20 days for issuing the license and permissions. And the last, or the other thing is just to grant the investors the residence for 5 years in the Upper Egypt, for example. Through the centers, we have 67 governmental authorities to grant the license in the Upper Egypt and the coastal cities. And the authority is going to expand the centers. The policy of the one window and its provision for investors. It's named was a center for the services of investors that has 67 relevant authority, and everything to be done in the same day. We were doing this for the same day or 2 days. The center has everything for passport, for the residents, real estate, trade registration in the center, and it has their powers with the coordination of the ministers to give the investors without going or being referred to this relevant. We're talking about the free zones of a long or a great vast of industries. What is provided by the authority, whether they are industrial or services? What are the differences and its contribution of creating $100 billion? Our goal is exportation. The system of the free zone is relied on the exportation, get all the customs releases. We have different activities such as IT, industry, services activity. The last year, our exportation of the cost to $11 billion. We are supporting these specialized zones. It could be an independent project, and give him all the grants and licenses to be operative. The promotion abroad, how does it being did? We do some sort of knock the door missions given or directed to the Egyptian or the private sector so they can be heard and for their success stories. All the missions accompanied by the businessmen. The upcoming week will have a promotion. Missions includes 30 businessmen. This is our new concept. So the most expertise one and the most one. They would say our success stories, and I give them to the chance to work. We do one-to-one meetings with our targeted investors. We have a list of the types of the companies and industries. It is a clear question. Are there any feasibility studies as an assistance to establish their own project? We have more than 1,300 opportunities of feasible studies for the investors to book the opportunities that has all the sectors required by the investors. I thank you, Councillor Mohammed Abdul Wahab of the Jaffe. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Dear viewers, we are continue our proceedings by opening the projects of the General Authority for Investment. Its goal is increasing exportation and the provision of the foreign currency in Egypt. Especially there is clearly a clear participation by the private sector to give a momentum for the economy in Egypt.
سنين انت ما بتقومشي، احنا بنعمل كده لولادنا، من قاعد معظمنا حيمشي. قول انا واهب تعب البلدي ومصر الاكبر متحيز. لا اي امور في حياتك خلي بلدك اكبر حيز. راجع بقى رجوك حساباتك، شغلك هيخليك تتميز. علق اي امور في حياتك خلي بلدك اكبر حيز. راجع بقى رجوك حساباتك، شغلك هيخليك تتميز. نام ساعة اتنين ما تنامشي، ما انت سنين انت ما بتقومشي. احنا بنعمل كده لولادنا، من قاعد معظمنا حيمشي. قول انا واهب تعب البلدي ومصر الاكبر متحيز. جدودنا ما بخلوش وترى تاريخك. شوف في الماضي، شوف احنا ازاي ما نسيناهوش. انا ساعة اتنين ما تنامشي، ما انت سنين انت ما بتقومشي. احنا بنعمل كده لولادنا، من قاعد معظمنا حيمشي. قول انا واهب تعب البلدي ومصر الاكبر متحيز. علق اي امور في حياتك خلي بلدك أكبر حيز. راجع بقى رجوك حساباتك، شغلك هيخليك تتميز. نام الساعة اتنين ما تنامشي، ما انت سنين انت ما بتقومشي. احنا بنعمل كده لولادنا، من قاعد معظمنا حيمشي. قول انا واهب تعب البلدي ومصر الأكبر متحيز. لا أي أمور في حياتك.
نجدد لكم التحية مرة أخرى من الهيئة العامة
in the General Authority for Investment and Free Zones, where President Abdel Fattah Sisi had inaugurated a number of projects related to different industries. Several plants that is produce products related to pharmaceutical components and food, as well as shoes, in reaching our dream to make the 100 billion US dollar as exportation. Tackling the successive crises such as COVID-19 and the Ukrainian crisis that made sort of all the prices. When we talk about the Egyptian economy, we're talking about the private sector, its contribution in building the Egyptian state. It's not right for any country to establish individual projects without any participation of the private sector by its side to provide a proper infrastructure and the provision of the attractive and affordable environment for investment domestically and internationally. We are here at Javi that is all the highest modern technological methods and the AI to train their own cadres to create an investive or rather investment generation knows very well the language of our new era. There is a praise of the Ministry or the Organization of the Economic Cooperation about such effort. It's not only provided in the Upper Egypt or through e-centers to provide a number of pieces of land affordable for investment in Sinai, for example. Beside the other services of the Javi throughout the Republic, when we talk about such services, we talk about a follow-up of investment and process through the settlement of conflicts that the Javi has succeeded throughout the past years and increasing exportation abroad in providing the foreign currency through the free zones of services and industry. We're talking about a key for the new age, the economy, in building a clear strategy for investment, whether from the plan proposed before the domestic and the foreign investors inside Egypt. When we talk about the efforts of the general authority, of course, not only for granting license of work license, a decision being taken in the government not to exceed 20 days by issuing different licenses for investment project, but rather a follow-up for facilitating the works to tackle and solve the obstacles hindered before this company. School supplies, it's in a factory and planned to be inaugurated by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah Sisi, as well as the harnesses for different types of vehicle to be exported abroad. When you talk about a number of plants, and we're talking about a production, the entry in the domestic market of 25% and 27% to be exported outside the country. According to the World Standardization and the international certificates that stipulated as such. We're honored to have you, sir. Leone is a company that's been established for 25 years and to support in the investment to start a new phase of 25 years. We have 6,700 people in Egypt. They have high capabilities of skills of support in some countries. As you know, is disseminated in 30 countries, and Egypt has become a potential for them. I'd like to welcome you, sir, on behalf of myself and the workers in the company. We are manufacturing 700 cars on daily basis for such as step and hand roofers and our clients in Germany. In this city we've got 4,000 workers that we are very proud of it today. We are producing every 3 minutes to be reviewed, used by the 100% Egyptian efficacy and Egyptian hands. It is a great pride of Leone, Egypt. As you can see, what we are the most important to pursue is to look after our workers. It's very important, the factors of the daily circle of production. The production lines are monitored, as you can see on the production screen, that we are very proud that Egypt is a pioneer in this field. Here we have what sort of are making the wiring system. We're using the wiring system to or produce and manufacture the vehicles by using and we are one of the leading automotive employers in the country. Our factories produce wiring harnesses and power cables for major global vehicle manufacturers and suppliers worldwide. We're also trying to maintain the environment with the collaboration of the Javi. If you can see, Mr. President, for us, we deliver customer satisfaction through the innovative spirit, quality, awareness, and skills of our employees. %70 of these wiring are manufactured here in Egypt. And we are the first in the world to do these wires here in Egypt.
مشاهدينا الكرام أهلا
Dear
بحضراتكم
viewers,
ومرحبا. نحن
once
معا
again would like to
على
welcome you here, and
من
we
مقر الهيئة
are
العامة
here in
للاستثمار
air
والمناطق
from the
الحرة،
headquarters of
افتتحت
the
الرئيس
Jaffe,
عبد
where
الفتاح
as the
السيسي
President
جانبا
Abdel Fattah
من
al-Sisi is
معارض
making an
الصناعات
inspection
والمصانع
tour for
المختلفة
some
مصر
exhibitions of different
التي
industries.
اهتمت
Egypt
بتحديث نفسها
had paid
اتساقا مع
intention
مفهوم
to
الهوية الجديدة. هذا
modernize
هو مفهوم
itself,
في المجالات
to go
كافة.
in line with the concept of the
تغير
new
وجه
republic.
مصر على
Egypt's
مستوى قطاعات
face had
متعددة
changed
ومختلفة،
in different
لكن
disciplines
اليوم
and fields,
والأجدر
but today
بالحديث هو
it is
الحديث
worth
عن
notably
قطاع
to
الصناعة
talk about
بمختلف
the
مجالات هذه
industry
الصناعة.
sector of different
فالصناعة هي عصب الاقتصاد،
branches.
والاقتصاد هو
Industry
عصب
is
الحياة.
the backbone of
ولعل
economy,
تطوير
and the
الصناعات
economy is the
والتكنولوجيا في
backbone of
مصر
life.
هو هدف قومي
It is
وعلى
a national
رأس
objective, the
هذا الهدف
industry,
إرادة
on
القيادة
top
السياسية
of
والإرادة
which
المصرية
the Egyptian and political leadership Egypt
تكون في مصف الدول
is
المتقدمة.
deserving to be on the line of the developed country. Egypt
من مختلف أنحاء
is fully
العالم
prepared
في مناطقها المختلفة،
to receive and host investors
فإني أتحدث
throughout the world. I'm talking about a legislative environment and a real localization and provision of technological education that maybe took place recently in the last few years. We're following a new direction or a new station for the president's tour. In his tour in exploring some industrial spots in the or within the General Authority for Investment.
مشاهدينا الكرام، ما نزالوا مع حضراتكم على الهواء
We're still on air
حيث يتابع الرئيس عبد
right now, whereas the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is making an inspection to here in the General Authority for Investment and Free Zones to a number of plants, models of different industries in different sectors.
هو من أهم مقدرات المستقبل.
Encouraging investment is one of the future investment potentials that is taking a great pay of intention by Mr. President. The expansion of established project by establishing development infrastructure to fulfill the needs of investment entering Egypt. Challenges cannot be ignored, whether they are the COVID-19 that invade the whole world, repercussions still exist, or other crises in Ukraine that cast light and affected the issue of food security. The economy is in a great wing of development in Egypt by Egyptian hands. Egypt is built as well as the new republic. Training and rehab centers developed machinery according to the world's standardizations, entering this new in the free zones of investment to enable the General Authority of Investment and Free Zones is the mecca for attracting the destination for attracting the investors in the world. $5 billion were the investment cost between 2021 and 2022, or the free zones of the goods stuff had reached to $6 billion of the same year. There are indicators according to Central Bank of Egypt report. Throughout the Republic, services are provided to facilitate the investors of a special measurement to issuing licenses and permissions in establishing projects, whether in the SMEs or the complementary complexes throughout the Republic.
لو كان الزلط حضرتك هنا براحتك انت ما تطلعش
an experiment to make sure in reaching the level of the world standardization. In order to figure out any changes of the standards of the shoes, whether in the front or in the back of the pair of shoe, household furniture as well as tools for agricultural.
واخر علامه تجاريه حضرتك شرفتنا مصنعنا النهارده هي علامه تجاريه الرياضيه وينترس كوتس.
We are actually making a commercial brand for the sport shoes as well as bags of all sizes with a higher quality, as well as swimming tools to be used by swimmers. We are in need for making a higher quality of the product. In the meantime, to have full integrations among the plants and the foreign and Egyptian manufacturers. Thank you.
مشاهدينا الكرام ويواصل
Dear
الرئيس عبد
viewers,
الفتاح السيسي
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi continuing his tour inside the General Authority for Investment and Free Zones, attended more than went to follow up different industries in a way to encourage investors, open vast horizons for investment in different sectors. Private sector, according to the intervention of Mr. President, that more than 70% of investment and economic sectors from the private sector to be the real strike of the Egyptian economy, that the state should support in a way to facilitate and ease the problems for such a sector in different sectors such as technology sectors, that they are the most important one in attracting investment throughout the Republic. Talking about investment, we're talking about the different geographical areas and different governorates in achieving